Lay out the frame parts with the motherboard on the left and the frame part with the secondary Y-axis stepper motor on the right. Using 4 M5x10 socket head bolts, attach the 4 corners together. Do not attach the middle X-axis frame component at this time. Next, we will install the silver frame component for the drag chain support. On the Y-axis plate on the right side of the machine, the side opposite of the motherboard, install the right angle bracket as shown using the side with the vertical holes. Attach this with 2 M3x10 bolts with the corresponding M3 nuts. Then move over to the other side with the motherboard and cut the 2 black zip ties holding the cable to the bracket. Grab one of the drag chain mounts and place it on the outside of the Y-axis plate lining the 2 holes with the bracket. Then put the other right angle bracket on the other side and secure both with 2 M3x15 bolts and M3 nuts. Then take the drag chain frame and install it with the lower base facing towards the back of the machine. You will see tapered holes in the frame that should be facing backwards. Install this part to the right angle brackets on each side with 2 M3x10 flathead bolts and M3 nuts. Next, attach the middle X-axis frame component to each side using M5x10 socket head bolts and attach the right side wire to the stepper motor. Next, cut the zip ties holding on the wires to the laser module axis. Attach the drag chain bracket to the holes you just removed the zip ties from using 2 M3x10 bolts and M3 nuts. Then remove the wires from the stepper motor on the back of the laser module axis. Take the red wire and the green wire you just disconnected from the motor and route them through the hole in the left side drag chain bracket. Then route both of these wires through the drag chain. Attach the drag chain to the middle of the drag chain frame with 2 M3x10 bolts and M3 nuts. Fold over the drag chain and connect it to the underside of the drag chain bracket attached to the laser module axis with 2 M3x10 bolts and M3 nuts. Attach the green stepper motor wire to the bottom of the stepper motor. Route the red laser wire through the hole in the drag chain bracket. Attach the red wire to the laser module and slide the module in the axis bracket and tighten it with the supplied Allen wrench. Next, I wanted to attach the electric air valve for the air assist to the drag chain bracket. As of the time of the filming, there doesn't seem to be a place dedicated to connecting this. There was also not any hardware in the kit to attach this component. There are some M5 threads on the bottom of this valve, but no M5 screws for it. What I did is not in any instructions, but what I did was take a M5x5 flathead screw and connect the air valves to the holes intended for the drag chain. I then move the connection of the drag chain forward of its original spot to the two holes directly next to it with two M3 by 10 bolts and nuts. It's not an exact fit, but it should work for our needs. As a side note, before you install the drag chain, be sure to route the USB and power cable wire through it first. I didn't, so it was harder to do it after it was already installed. With the drag chain installed, plug in the air valve wire to the M8 position on the motherboard. The M7 port is for a relay switch that controls an optional exhaust fan. The door port is for an on-off kill switch that is also intended to be installed with an enclosure. I will not be installing either of these components at this time. I then connected the Y-axis motor connection to the motherboard. Connect the USB-B cable to the motherboard, then connect the power port to the motherboard. Again, these were routed through the drag chain off camera. Connect the hose to the air control valve push connector, then lightly attach the hose and cable wires to the drag chain frame with the included zip ties. Be sure not to tighten them too much as to pinch the flexible tubing. Route the hose through the drag chain and out the hole in the front of the drag chain bracket. There are two ways to attach an air assist to this module. The first would be to attach a 3D print to the front of the laser shield and then attach this metal tube that you bend and angle to be your air assist. My machine also came with this 3D printed nozzle that I'm going to use. I believe the future versions of this air assist are all CNC'd metal, but this is the version I have. There is also an STL on their wiki that links you to this 3D print. Remove the bolts holding on the laser shield to take the shield off. Then place the supplied O-ring over the laser module nozzle. Then place the air assist securely over the nozzle and attach it with the same bolts that were holding the laser shield on. Attach the laser module to the frame and cut the air tube from the drag chain to the proper length. Install the tubing into the push connector on the air assist. Because of the size of this machine, it is really intended to be attached to a Spoilboard. I bought this 2x4 piece of plywood at my local home improvement store and had them cut it down to 2 by 3.5 feet. Connect a right angle bracket to the legs of the machine using an M5 by 10 button head screw and an M5 nut. Then use an M4 wood screw to attach the brackets to the Spoilboard. Make sure the frame is square using some kind of angle or miter square. Then attach the foot to the opposite corner of the machine, being sure each time to check the squareness of the frame. Using 2 of the M4 wood screws, attach the drag chain from the motherboard to the Spoilboard. With the frame screwed down, move the gantry to the front of the machine, making sure the axis brackets are touching the front of the frame on both sides. Download and install the NEJE software and connect the machine through the USB drive. Plug your machine to the power and be sure to have your eye protection handy as the laser spot turns on as soon as the machine is plugged in. Open the NEJE app and the software will automatically search and connect to your machine and check to see if you need a firmware upgrade. If you do need an upgrade, then click on the flash button and the firmware will install very quickly and then restart the machine. When the software opens, your laser should automatically home to the top left corner of the frame. Your machine is now ready to use. You need to hook up an air source if you are using an air assist, and don't forget to focus your laser. I hope you found this video helpful. Again, I do not work for NEJE, and any of this information is subject to change as the company changes their designs or parts. If you are interested in a review of this machine, feel free to subscribe to my channel for more videos coming soon after I've been able to have some time to fully test this machine. Thanks again, be safe, and we'll see you next time.